I'm Harpa, this is Charlotte, and this is gonna be the Mystic Quest any percent run. And to start out with, we are going to have to set up a little glitch here, which is why I started in a game, and this is like at the end of the run basically. And I'm gonna reset, and it's gonna glitch some defense values. Oh, and I'm gonna need the donation incentive for the character name.
I think mine's been sniped.
All right, almost ready. So yeah, basically loading into the game at the end of the game, it's gonna the defense values and some resistances are gonna carry over to the new game. It's a glitch, so like technically it's a new game plus basically. Ah, okay.
Yes. That was my donation.
Oi, stinky.
Hehe.
Knut didn't make it, I'm sorry. All right, so I think you start the, yeah, tech starts the timer, I think. So I'm gonna count down from 3, 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo.
All right, so the beginning is gonna be fairly unexciting. I guess I should say some general things about this game. Like, this is basically a Final Fantasy released for Western audiences in '92 when, like, yeah, the game companies thought Japanese RPGs are too hard for us Western audiences. So basically they have a fail-safe in all the fights. If you lose a fight, you can just say, no, I won't give up, and you just get to retry. But that also means that they didn't bother balancing all the fights properly. So some unfair things can happen, which can cost you some time, of course. Here I'm just gonna, yeah. This fight can actually go wrong because he can crit you, and you will die if he does. But it's looking good. So yeah. The story of this game is also pretty... The writing is pretty funny at times. Unfortunately, we won't really have time to read the text, of course. I'm quickly gonna set some options here. Customize figure and message speed. Message speed is self-explanatory. We wanna have the lowest possible speed. That means the text box, I mean, we're gonna mesh through them anyway, but it's still better to just set it to 1 in case you miss meshing a text box or something. And the figure is, like, you saw that the health values early on were displayed in like this weird bar thing. And that would get even weirder as the game goes on and the HP values get higher, so it's better to just put it to a figure because it's relevant where it's at. I'm gonna talk more about that later. I'm also gonna heal here. We just picked up our first NPC companion, Kaylee, and right now she has one spell, which is the life spell. It revives people, but you can also just use it to heal. And we're picking up Cure right here. And this is gonna be for our main character, Oi Stinky. Instead of the NPCs, basically all the spells we pick up are gonna be for our main character. And now we're gonna have our first couple of fights. Oops. And you can see that Kaylee is set to auto, which means she's basically gonna do what's in her script. Okay. Oi Stinky missed, which is not good.
I think Oi Stinky is his Christian name. I think you can just call him Stinky for short.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, basically right now she's just gonna attack. That's what's in her script if you keep her on auto. if Stinky were to die, then she would revive him. That would take precedence. And also she will always attack the lowest HP character, which we don't want. Because, okay, I missed again. Holy shit. She is strong enough to just kill these guys with one hit. So it's better... Okay. It's better to just have her... Like have Stinky hit the one that's already damaged and have her kill the other one. I'm missing a lot here, by the way.
RNG gods.
RNG gods are not kind so far. This is gonna be our first main boss, and it's...
Ooh, big beastie.
It's a special one because it's undead, so we can just do this, cast life on it and it's dead. And story-wise, Katie got poisoned before the fight. She was able to get through the fight, but now...
Aww.
Her mom randomly shows up. I don't know how she knows, but...
I think mums just magically know where their children are. They've got a sixth sense for that.
And yeah, she told us the elixir is gonna be in this little thing, but it's not, because this guy, Tristan, has taken it, and he's saying he's gonna sell it to us for an extraordinary sum. We're gonna say, no, we can't afford that, and then he says, well, you just help me get a treasure on the bone dungeon, and I'm gonna give you the elixir. So he's blackmailing us.
It's got some seriously funky music.
It does. The music is pretty good. Right, I actually got low again, which shouldn't have happened, but I missed so much. So I'm probably gonna heal. So yeah, this is our first dungeon, and in a second I'm gonna get a new item, bombs, which can explode walls like these, but also they're a very important weapon. Basically they are way stronger than the sword or the axe which we have right now. And they are strong enough to kill any of these enemies with one hit, but by default they attack all enemies at the same time, like it's an AoE spell. And if there's more than one enemy left, that's not enough to kill them. So basically whenever we walk into a fight, it can be 1, 2 or 3 enemies. 1 is obviously optimal, Tristan just attacks them. I put him back on auto because he also only has the life spell, and he's just gonna attack if he has nothing else to do. And yeah, that obviously works out well. If it's 2, that's also fine. Tristan is gonna kill one and then Stinky is gonna kill the other one. But if it's 3, that's annoying, because Tristan would kill one and then Stinky can't kill anyone with the bombs because the damage would be spread. So basically if you encounter a formation of 3, you're just gonna run and re-engage, because the number of enemies is randomized every time you go into an encounter. Okay, missing a lot here. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna defend with Tristan, which means that it basically does nothing.
It's gotta be said that this is a super RNG heavy game.
It is, yeah, that's gonna come up. I mean, right now it's still okay, but it's gonna get bad. Basically, if you defend, he takes all the damage for Stinky, but more importantly, we don't have to wait for his attack animation. Like right there, when both were low enough that one bomb attack would kill them both, it's not worth it to have Tristan attack, because we would still have to attack with Stinky, because Tristan can only attack one enemy. So we just want to skip his attack animation and defend with Stinky. So far it's been very good. We haven't had a single formation of 3. So that's good RNG, even though we keep missing. And right here we're gonna pick up seeds. 3 seeds. They are an item that refreshes our MP. And if there is a formation of 3, no. Obviously they are, yeah, spells are gonna become very important throughout the entire game, essentially. And oh no, this is fine. So I'm gonna go for defend again. Never mind. He got confused, so I could do that. So yeah, seeds are very important because they refresh your MP, and spells are gonna get very important. And we can also dupe the seeds. Well, we can dupe any item, which means we just get another one for free essentially. And I'm going to do that soon. I could have done that very well here if there's a formation of 3, because you have to run from those anyways, so that's like the best possible encounter to do it on, because it's kind of a wasted encounter anyway. In a second, yeah. This is gonna be the first boss fight. I just used the seed on Stinky to have full MP. And this is very obviously also an undead boss. Crit, that's very good. Ooh. And he does quite a bit of damage. And we're gonna keep using Cure on him because that's the best. That's the best damage we can do. And if Stinky gets below 1 HP, below half HP, I mean, of course, we are gonna heal with life with Tristram. Since it's the life spell, he won't do that automatically.
Stinky, wake up!
Yeah. Because he would only do that if Stinky's actually dead, but we don't want him to die in the first place. So basically, whenever someone is below half HP, Tristram is critting a lot, which is good. I'm gonna heal them right here. So again, life, and this should be very good. There were 2 crits from Tristram, which rarely happens. And also, this boss has a very dangerous attack, which he didn't do a single time, thankfully, which is called Quake. It does damage on both our characters, and it does quite a lot of damage. And he does it more the lower his HP get. So you kind of wanna, like, to be optimal on this fight, you wanna be pretty careful going into the later phase of the fight. And you don't wanna have like half HP going to the later phase, because he's just gonna keep doing Quake and you're gonna have to keep healing and it will be very slow. Okay, so Tristram got his treasure, the Dragon Claw, and he gives us our elixir, and we're also picking up the sand coin right here, which is basically, there are gonna be a couple of these coins, and they are the most important story item. Can't remember if I picked up Quake. I'm gonna check. Yeah, okay. That's what happens if you keep talking, you forget things. So now, oh yeah, now would be a good time for donation. I'm gonna pick up 2 more items, and otherwise I'm just gonna walk out.
Zephyr donated $10. Hey everyone, Zephyr here, your local friendly tracker admin. I just wanted to thank everyone involved with the second stream, including but not limited to Liver, Zotan 2, Oromit and everyone else in production. Question, which stream is best? I'll give you a hint, there are basically 2 schools of thought. I'll give you the answer at the end of the event, so stay tuned.
At the moment, definitely stream 2.
Yeah, totally.
This is where it's at.
Okay, so right now we're still gonna have to walk out of most of the dungeons, which is painful. We're not gonna have to do that later on. I picked up a steel shield here. Again, all the armor and spells we pick up are always gonna be for our main character. And that's just gonna give us a little more defense value. And I also picked up some heal potions. And that's to set up a glitch later on. We don't actually need the heal potions. But we need them to set up a glitch later on.
I love the idle animations in this game, how they do a little jig.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. So now we got the elixir. We can give it to Katie. She still has to recover a little bit, but she tells us about the focus tower, which leads to other areas in the game. And that's what we got the sand coin for, because there are different coins in the game and they all open up a door in the focus tower. We got the sand coin, which is gonna open up the first door for us. Here the old man shows up again, but you don't have to talk to him.
That's mean.
It is. Feels like, I don't know, we're raising money for Alzheimer's. We should be talking to the grandpa, make sure he's okay. But that's not fast, so we can't. I was able to pick up some more bombs in the focus tower, and I'm gonna be able to pick up some more bombs here. And we're talking to Phoebe, who tells us that Aquaria's frozen, and also tells us that she's Spencer's granddaughter, which Kaylee told us about, that it's a man that we should be looking for. And so we just say, okay, then we're coming with you, and she doesn't really get a choice, I guess. And we're gonna go to Aquaria, we're gonna see that it's frozen, and go into Phoebe's house to get a quick cutscene. The bombs are a very important item because, well, right now they're the strongest weapon we can get, but also they can't miss, which is very good. Because as you saw earlier, my characters always miss. And they can't with the bombs, so that's great. I'm just gonna dupe some seeds right now so I don't forget. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the seed, then run from the fight. And you can see now we should have 3 seeds. Yeah. Just making super sure. And yeah, now we have 3 seeds, which is good because we should only have 2 left at this point. So basically what you do is you just input using it with Stinky. You have to put your second character on manual so you can do inputs with them. And then you just cancel out on everything and the game tries to give you back the seed that you used because you ran, but you actually never used the seed. So you get a free one basically. And we're gonna have to, yeah, we duped 2 seeds because that's gonna be enough until the seeds are not relevant anymore. I'm gonna talk about why that is later. Okay, so I put Phoebe in auto because she's just gonna fire that one, and I used Quake with Stinky, and these guys are weak to Quake. So it's just gonna kill them, and that is basically the only reason I picked up Quake.
Oh.
You can skip, yeah, I fell down, and Phoebe sees us and feels sorry for us and gives us the claw, so now we can crawl on walls. But yeah, that is basically the only reason to pick up Quake, and you can skip picking up Quake completely. A lot of people do. Because, yeah, it's just an extra spell to pick up. I mean, it's like 10 seconds less than that probably. And it makes some fights faster, and you are probably gonna... You can avoid duping an extra seed, so it's nice. And, oh, whoops. I forgot that that guy wouldn't die from the fire, so I wasted a Quake. Which kinda sucks. Yeah, so right now I always have Phoebe on manual because she will only cast fire on everyone if they are all the same enemy. Let's see, okay, still not. So if there's like a split combination like this, like two hedgehogs and 1 scorpion, she won't automatically cast fire if you leave her on auto. Okay, she should kill that one, and then we use Quake on the remaining one. Because I wasted a Quake earlier, I don't have any left. And there's gonna be 1 more landworm coming up. So I'm gonna have to deal with that one differently. Oops. Now we're gonna use Thunder, which is the strongest spell right now. And for these guys it's just enough if you use Thunder and bombs. And these should be just 2 land turtles, and Phoebe is just gonna do it on auto. Because these guys are weak to Thunder. So the NPCs try to, like, if an enemy is weak to something, they generally attack with that. Sometimes they have weird scripts, seemingly where they seem to prefer attacking with a weapon instead of a spell. And then we're gonna have to input that manually.
Does confusion carry over from battle? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. There are actually pretty few statuses that carry over. Confusion doesn't, paralysis doesn't, Okay, how am I gonna kill these guys actually? I think I'm just gonna use bombs, should be fine. Might need to use 2 bombs. Yeah, I'm just gonna... I'm not sure that would be enough actually, I'm just gonna let her attack. So yeah, Confusion doesn't carry over, Paralysis doesn't carry over. Petrify doesn't carry over, which is very good because it's a very annoying status. It's gonna come up a lot more later in the game. Basically, if both of your characters get petrified or... Well, for the fight, basically, if you get petrified, you're dead for that fight. Both of them get petrified, then you just lose the fight. So it's good that it doesn't carry over, because a lot of enemies have petrification spells later in the game. And the routing for this dungeon is pretty efficient, where right now it should be pretty much exactly that we are at 0 spells with Phoebe right now. So we're gonna use the seed on her right now. Just doing the input very carefully because I don't want to waste the seed. And another boss is gonna come up in a second. So basically the routing with the spells is pretty specific so that we don't need to dupe more than 2 seeds. Because obviously it just takes a little extra time to do so.
Is it because you're doing a run that Stinky is less than half the level of Phoebe, or is that usual even in a non-run?
What is, sorry?
So Phoebe's level 15 and Stinky is level 7, is that normal?
Yeah, our main character is always gonna be super under-leveled, basically. Because obviously we're not doing anything unnecessary, and the NPCs, they always have a fixed level, actually.
Okay.
Good thing that you asked, because I didn't talk about that before. Like, Phoebe she shows up with level 15 and she's gonna be level 15 until she leaves. Whereas our main character gets level up. And I'm just gonna let her revive him. It's probably not necessary, but it's kind of early for him to die. So yeah, the NPCs are always gonna be overpowered in comparison to the main character, because he's always gonna be under-leveled and they're gonna start with a fixed level.
Oh no.
Yeah, it looks pretty sad.
He looks so sad.
He should be sad, he's dying. So yeah, the death animations are pretty good, honestly. Like, I don't really remember a lot of other games having that in this area, in this era of games. So this, I always thought it was pretty cool. So this is another dungeon we're just gonna have to walk out of. So if you want to talk about donation incentives or something, would be a pretty good time right now.
Tomaine donated $10. Mystic Quest soundtrack is banging.
I agree.
Totally.
Charlotte donated $15. Great to be at ESA Summer 19.
I think I know who that is.
Sire Zamaphone donated $10. Put this towards the Chimera. Destroy all Monster Girls Berserk race mode. Snapcase needs the attack buff.
There's a lot of great stuff to say about this game. I mean, I feel it got a bad rap because people wanted Final Fantasy V in the West, but it's a really cool game.
It is. I think so too. And yeah, we just picked up the Libra crest, which means we can warp here now. And our mission was to go to the Spring of Life, which was supposed to be in there. It's kind of small for like something impressive sounding like a Spring of Life. But yeah, you can see it's empty. But for some reason this old guy has what's left of it in a bottle. And this is supposed to unfreeze Aquaria. So we got what we could from the old guy, and we're gonna go back to Aquaria. Little cutscene is gonna start, and Phoebe is gonna try to unfreeze Aquaria.
So you took stuff from the old guy, but you didn't want to talk to him earlier. That is so rude. Very rude.
I'm a very bad person. I was gonna say grandson, but I'm not his grandson. So yeah, you could see that it didn't work, and then Phoebe just figures, okay, I guess we need to get the something crystal. I don't know. The writing isn't great. And we need to go through the wintry cave. Okay, I put a... Oh, okay. Here I wasn't paying attention. I forgot that Stinky was below half health, in which case that will take precedence for her over attacking them. So that's something to watch out for, because Phoebe, now she's our first NPC companion with the cure spell. And the way that it behaves is that they are always gonna heal a character as soon as they're below half HP. So obviously you don't want that in a fight, because Phoebe is always gonna go first anyway. And we're gonna use the correct spell so that she can just one-shot everything. So it just wastes time to heal inside a fight. You would want to heal outside of a fight. We have to push some pillars here to make a bridge, make several bridges. And like I said, the routing with the spells works out just so that after this fight we are going to be out of spells. Alright, since there's a water hack with them, I need to input this manually, or she would just do something different. She would not cast Thunder on all of them. And now we're actually gonna do something that is not intended, but it's not a glitch. It's actually a pretty cool little skip. You're supposed to make a bridge further to the right and fight another enemy, but we can just push it like this and go straight to the end. And that's not intended. We're supposed to go up here and make a bridge there, but by pushing those other pillars we can just jump towards the end here. I'll pick this up. Need to seed Phoebe, can heal her, and we go into the fight. We want to start out with a fire to just get rid of these two water hacks at the sides. What?
The faces.
Yeah. They are pretty shocked about the fact that they're dying. I would be too, I guess.
Yeah, true.
And now we use Thunder, because again that's the strongest spell. I'm not gonna heal, I think. Okay, that's kind of annoying. Should I revive? I probably should revive, yeah. Actually, no, it's good. Just gonna YOLO. He should be dead after the next attack. If he's not, I might be screwed. Okay, there you go. And now Phoebe gives us new bombs, jumbo bombs, and they are even stronger than our normal bombs, which is good. And we cleared the path to the ice pyramid. Oh wow, whoops. That's not supposed to happen. This is time to use another seed. And Phoebe tells us about these statues, which we can just stab with the sword and it's gonna unlock passages. Going to pick up some refreshers. This is again like the cure potions we picked up in the first dungeon. It's about setting up glitch. I'm gonna talk about that more when it comes to that. Alright. She should attack with thunder because it's all the same enemies and they are weak to thunder.
Interesting thing is that Lamia is also a Persona in the Persona games.
Oh right,
yeah.
I remember.
It's the same with Pazuzu. I think there must be some sort of mythological
probably
background.
I would assume so. And yeah, as you can see, all the enemies here are invisible. It looks like you might have to remember a very specific path, but honestly, most of the enemies that are in your path are unavoidable anyway. So there's not a lot of enemies that you could possibly run into that are not directly in your way anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. You just need to know where to go. So far the fight formations have been pretty generous, I gotta say. Okay, these sorcerers don't quite die to fire, but bombs finish them off. And this might be a Sphinx. Oh, it's just a Fang, but that's good. I'm, whoops, just gonna attack with Stinky and defend with Phoebe, because I don't want to use a spell with this guy, and her arrows don't kill this guy with one hit. So it's better to just defend and not have her go through her attack animation.
Desert Hag is also a pretty funny name for an enemy.
Yeah. Oh, are they called desert hags? I thought they were called water hags. No.
Or maybe some sort of hag.
It might be desert hag actually, I'm not sure. These enemies are... Like this formation in general is kind of annoying because this mage can heal, and he did. Which means... Otherwise I would have just defended and attacked with bombs and it would have finished them both off. But because he healed, we actually need to use a fire here. If that doesn't happen, if he doesn't heal, you can just stay on defend. Oh yeah, basically, you can see that Phoebe's always gonna be on the last thing that she input, and that stays if you switch between auto and manual. So, for example, you could just keep her on defend, and then whenever she's supposed to actually cast something, you can just put her on auto, if the auto script is right for that. Like if she's gonna do that on auto, and then basically just keep switching back and forth between auto and manual without having to actually menu with Phoebe, which saves quite a bit of time. Okay, having blind on Phoebe is annoying because for her, well, that is a status that persists after fights, and for her, healing her blindness would take precedence over attacking enemies. So we don't want that. Even though the blind status is not that much of an issue usually, because you're gonna be casting spells and it doesn't matter for that, it just matters for attacks. But yeah, since she's not gonna cast anything other than heal if she's on auto at that point, you kinda just wanna get rid of the heal status. What it was called, blind status.
Interesting how blind carries over but paralyzed doesn't.
Yeah, I don't quite get the logic, to be honest.
No. I think back in 1992 they didn't have to be all that logical with these kind of things.
Yeah. I was still figuring things out. Again, the sorcerer healed, which is annoying.
It's also always a bad formation in JRPGs when you have a mixture of enemies and one of them's a healer.
Yeah, it is. And... oh yeah, one thing I... God damn it, blind again. Oh. Annoying. One thing I forgot to talk about is that I can input some things while I'm like fading back in from the fight. Like when it's fading back in from black, I can switch Phoebe from auto to manual and switch weapons with Stinky, which is good because then we don't have to stop and actually do it. That should be auto. So it just saves some time because you can input that kind of stuff when you can't input any movement or anything like that anyway. This is a better formation than with a mage because these guys can't heal. Okay. He's below half HP, so we're gonna have to heal him after the fight, or Phoebe is just gonna heal him on auto. We don't want that.
So what is your setup for running this game? Like, you're playing on an SNES.
Oh yeah.
But what kind of an SNES?
Where am I going? Oh yeah, an American SNES. It has to be NTSC, of course. What am I doing? Has to be NTSC, of course, just because it's faster. And
sorry, distracting you.
No, that's fine. I always get confused because that floor looks almost exactly like the one before when you enter it, and I just... Like the floor before you have to go right, and this one you have to go left, and Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be a Sphinx, which means Thunder.
Yeah, we think it might not actually be called Final Fantasy Mystic Quest in PAL. So the reason it comes up as Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is presumably because you're running NTSC.
Oh yeah. I forgot actually which way around it was. I mean, I think it got released back in Japan, and I think maybe it was there that it was just called Mystic Quest or something,
Okay.
but it has different names in different regions. So it can get kind of confusing. We just picked up some heal potions right there, which is again to set up the glitch later on. No, Thunder. And we can also use this last seed now, which is again to set up the glitch. Oh, it's annoying. Don't do that, please. Okay, good. We're gonna pick up some armor here for our main character, which gives us some resistances and some more defense. And like I said, last seed on Phoebe. And now our top row. The first spot is gonna be empty on the top row. The second is the cure potions that we picked up on the first dungeon. The third spot is gonna be the refreshers that we picked up earlier in this dungeon. And the fourth spot is heal potions. God damn it. All is missing. Don't appreciate it.
RNG gods are forsaking us.
Yeah, I mean the formations have been okay, but I just keep... Oh my god. I'm just gonna attack with her manually. Really? I'm not sure that's gonna be enough. Not. That's very unlucky.
Please get your donations in, because that will make the RNG gods happy.
And now she crits. There's no point. Okay, so you can see our top row here. It's like the first slot is empty, that's basically... And the other slots are taken, which is the important part. Because we're gonna do some underflowing later. This is... Is it defense? I forgot. This is a pretty rare formation. Okay, that's not enough. Whoops. That's okay though. I should have cast Thunder on all of them, I believe. Although I'm not sure if I wouldn't have run out of Thunders at that point. So I just keep falling down to get this spot. Whoops. Gonna need to input Thunder manually. Because there's an extra enemy with them. And then we can pick up the Knight Sword, which is a pretty great item because not for its attack value, but because it actually gives us speed, which means we're gonna be just a little faster, or we have a better chance of attacking earlier in the... Oh yeah, whoops, I forgot it's that early. Yeah, just of attacking earlier in the order of the fight. That should be Thunder again. So, yeah, we're not gonna be attacking a lot with the Knight Sword, but we're gonna be equipping it a lot. All this confusion. We're gonna be equipping it a lot when we're casting spells, just so we have a chance that our spell goes through a little faster than some of the enemy's attacks. And this should... Is this the last fight or is there one left? They always confuse both of them, that's really annoying. I'm just gonna let this run out. If I die here... Oh yeah, I don't think it has happened yet. If I die, I can just retry. I think I've talked about that before. Oh, he does get it to attack, so that's fine.
Yes.
Down to the wire.
So were there any follow-up gains to Mystic Quest, or was it a one-off?
I think this was a one-off. Because there were... I mean, it was kind of a weird case anyway. There's a Game Boy game also called Mystic Quest, I believe. Which is the first game in the Seiken Densetsu trilogy, I guess. But yeah, I don't think there were any follow-ups to this one. So here I'm gonna cast fire manually because Phoebe can do some weird stuff sometimes where she just doesn't cast fire for some reason, which is weird because he's weak to it. Sometimes she just attacks with her weapon. Don't do that. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that.
This lad is an absolute unit.
Yeah. I gotta be careful not to use another cure potion. Heal potion, I mean. Accidentally used used 2 on auto. I'm being pretty wasteful with my bombs here. Like there's also a case to attacking with a Knight Sword because it can crit, but it can also miss, so it's kind of a trade-off. Yeah, this is like the first somewhat dangerous enemy. I'm just gonna cure with both because I don't want this fight to go wrong. Oh, I used the last bomb. Whoops. Should be fine. Maybe not actually. Let's just hope this kills him. If it doesn't...
You can do it! Come on!
Okay,
yes.
Good. If it doesn't, it would have been bad. Yay. So yeah, again, we're gonna pick up this coin here. I think water coin it's called.
So shiny!
We have to walk out of the dungeon again, but this is the last dungeon we're gonna have to walk out of, thankfully. And on the way out, I'm gonna pick up 10 bombs, because we need them in a second. River coin, that's what it's called. Also, I need to go one spot to the right and then down, because otherwise you land all the way over on the left side of the room for some reason. But yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna pick up 10 bombs and then walk out of this dungeon. So if you wanna talk about donation incentives or anything like that, would be a good time. I need 10 bombs right now. I actually have 0. I went all the way down to 0, which is fairly rare. But like I said, I'm pretty wasteful with the bombs because I just like the safe hit over the crit from the Knight Sword. So yeah, but we need those bombs for a battlefield that's coming up, the exit battlefield, which is basically the way battlefields work in this game is you just go through a certain amount of battles and at the end you get a reward. And the reward from this battlefield is going to be the exit spell, which is going to allow us to exit out of a dungeon, which is obviously very useful because as you can see, right now I always just have to walk out of a dungeon, which is very slow. And it actually has combat uses as well.
Don't forget to see Grandpa.
I'm not gonna see him a lot this game, unfortunately.
Atrocious.
Yes. So yeah, the way this battlefield works, it's really boring. You just go into the fight. Either it's a single one like this, then it's great, you attack him, you kill him, it's done. 10 fights total. or you walk into 2 enemies, like this, good timing. They surprise attack you, and there's no efficient way to kill these, so all you do is run and re-enter and hope for a single one. So this is also, first of all, it's boring, second of all, it's another source of RNG. Because you might just get 10 single battles, that's really fast, or you might get a lot of doubles, in which case you're gonna be here quite a while. And that's what we need those 10 bombs for, because we need to win exactly 10 battles, and bombs are just the fastest way to do that. Because as you can see, one bomb just takes them down. If it's a formation of 2, they always surprise attack you, I think. And if it's a single one, he can surprise attack you, but it's fairly rare.
I think the death animation of the squid is my favourite one. It just looks like it's got a floppy emo fringe.
Yeah.
Pretty cute.
Overall, this has been okay though. Not too many formations of 2. Come on. Just, whoops, I didn't get a surprise attack. And that surprised me. So I didn't run.
The lack of surprise surprised you.
Exactly.
Ah.
Oh, that actually means I wasted a bomb, which kinda sucks. So now we won't have the bomb for the last one, so I'm just gonna have to do it with the sword, I guess. And as you can see, it takes 2 attacks, so it's better to just have the bombs. And it can miss. And now we're blind, so I'm gonna run. Do I actually have a way to... I do have a way to do that.
Have you ever played any of the Famicom Final Fantasies? Super Famicom.
Yeah, I've actually played all the... God, what am I doing? I've actually played all the Final Fantasies until 10, I think. Totally shaken by that non-surprise attack. Again.
Reminder never to not surprise Harpa.
Yeah.
Always surprise Harpa.
I'm very surprised if I don't get surprised. Okay. Let's hope this works finally. Please don't blind me, thanks. Seriously.
Come on, you can do it.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. That took a lot longer than it should have.
Sometimes the RNG is just not in your favour.
Yeah.
Stop ignoring the old man. So rude.
So we can exit out of this dungeon, which is amazing.
I would be a terrible runner of this game. I would want to talk to the old man all the time.
Yeah. It's not fast. It's not fast at all. So we push the thing, we have the river coin, we can go to the next area.
Woohoo!
And this is the area that we're gonna skip completely with the glitch that I mentioned it every once in a while that we set up our top item roll for this glitch. And we're gonna underflow the second slot in the inventory and it's gonna do some weird things. It's basically as far as I can explain it. sure you can read up on it on speedrun.com, how exactly it works.
Are there resources to learn the run on speedrun.com?
Yeah, there's a great guy by Magus who has, like, he's the god of this game. He's had the record for, feels like forever. So I'm gonna buy 0 seats because you can do that for some reason. I'm gonna use my 0 seats. It underflows the slot to the right. I'm gonna buy 19 potions from her. And we now got a bunch of items, as you can see. We got the Sky Coin, the... what else? Sky Coin, Sand Coin, and the Mobius Crest. So we can just proceed to the next area. Basically, we got all the coins we need right now. So we didn't have to do that area at all. We're just gonna walk back into the focus tower and proceed directly to the 4th main area of the game. So that's the first major skip and the most, like the biggest skip of the game. And we go into this, and this is Ruben, someone we should have met in the last area. He would have been our next NPC companion, but yeah. We just never met him. That can happen. That's why I said they didn't bother balancing the game, because you can just go, like they ask, okay. They ask you if you want to give up and you can just say no and you get to try again. So they didn't bother balancing all the fights, so that kind of stuff can happen where you can't really do anything about it. So we saw Ruben fall down earlier. Oh, and yeah, Ruben just says I'll catch up with you later, so goodbye Ruben. We hardly knew ye. But you also saw the combat application of the exit spell, which is basically you just cast it on an enemy and they just disappear out of the fight. And obviously this is very convenient. It can miss, which with how the run has been going I'm kind of worried about. But other than that, it's a really useful spell, obviously. And what it means is that you don't get any XP from the enemies that you exit, but that doesn't really matter. We don't really need the XP. Like I said, our NPC companions have fixed levels anyway, and our main character doesn't need to be high level. It's a lot of missing. Usually you don't miss this much. Poison is also kind of annoying because you can always see this text box pop up at the end of each turn, which just takes a little extra time. And what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. First of all, I'm gonna need to... I want to heal him because I need to cast life anyway. And then... Oh yeah, what I was gonna say... You saw that Tristan has enough damage to kill them. And the only reason he has enough damage, if I remember correctly, is that we said... That's annoying. They can duplicate. The only reason he has enough damage is because of the glitch we set up at the very beginning. Stop it, please. At the very beginning of the game, where some values carry over. So he has a little more attack, he has more resistances than he should. And it's just OP in general.
People watching at home, get your donations in. We need all the good RNG we can get.
We have a donation incentive for good RNG? I don't think so. See, that's the mistake. So yeah, we would talk to the tree. The tree would... Why are you laughing?
Because you're talking to the tree instead of talking to the grandpa.
The tree has more to say. But yeah, the tree wouldn't talk to us actually, and then Tristan said, "Don't you know someone that would talk to trees?" And I guess that's Kaylee.
Something wrong with Kaylee.
Yeah. So yeah. Katie is in Phoebe's house to the left, but I know she's still sleeping, so I can just go directly down here, where I'm supposed to talk to the old man. I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird that Tristram even knows that or cares. I mean, remember he blackmailed us for the elixir, which saved Kaylee. Like, obviously he doesn't care all that much, but apparently he cares enough to know that Kaylee can speak to trees. So yeah, because the tree wouldn't talk to us, we have to get Kaylee. And we talk to Spencer here first, which is Phoebe's grandpa. And he's talking about a ship that we need later on. Tristram leaves us, but he gives us the Dragon Claw, which is also a very useful item. Again, well, actually for two reasons. First of all, it raises your magic value, so your magic spells are just gonna they're gonna do just a little more damage. Also, Phoebe just shows up and blows up this tunnel for no reason. I don't know why. The writing is weird sometimes. So yeah, the claw gives us just a little more magic damage. Usually we still want the sword because we just want to go first in the fights. But there are certain enemies where that little increase pushes us just over the edge. And then it's just enough to kill the enemies. Also, the claw can petrify. So basically, whenever you attack an enemy, there's a certain chance that you will petrify them and they will just die instantly. Which is very convenient, of course. Again, that's not gonna be used too much because there's... spells are pretty much always gonna be stronger. But there are certain enemies which are actually immune to spells, so for those you would want to use the claw sometimes. So we can go back to the third area. Our main objective is gonna be to talk to the tree and go inside the tree. That's where the next dungeon is. But I'm gonna walk out here quickly and then re-enter because that sets the point where exit is gonna take us to when we use it. So basically, if I hadn't done that and if I had used the exit spells, it would have taken us back to the entry point from the second area, Aquaria. But since we walked out of there, it's... oh, that's annoying. Since I walked out of the exit, it's gonna take me back to the other exit, which is where we want to be. Exit on... no, never mind. Okay, so we're gonna go down here just to pick up the arrow spell for our main character, because that's an important spell. Especially for the next dungeon. In general, it's a strong spell, but for the next dungeon, the boss is gonna be weak to it. It's gonna be the strongest spell that we can get to this point. As you can see, the exit spell took me here, instead of where we originally entered, which is what would have happened if we hadn't exited out here first. We're gonna walk through this area again. Fight the same enemies. It's a bit more convenient with Katie, because she has arrow spells, the arrow spell. And Tristram is pretty useless, he only has his regular attack, which doesn't do a lot of damage. Okay, I can't use arrow on all of them because that's not enough damage, so a pretty common combo at this stage in the game is exit arrow, like a single target arrow, and then you can just kill the enemies one by one. It will kill pretty much all the enemies in one hit.
So who's your favorite companion?
That's a very good question. Probably Phoebe. Is this enough? I'm not even sure. Probably Phoebe, because she's always very strong. Like in the points in the game where she shows up. She is the last companion. And Also, when she shows up the first time, she's pretty overpowered. So I guess her.
Pretty creepy that the tree has mummies inside of it.
Yeah. I'm a little sad that I have to mash through all the dialogue because the writing is absolutely great. Like, I think the dialogue with the tree before this goes... Like, Kaylee tells him to please open the way, and he says, okay, if you whack the monsters inside of me, then she says, okay, if that's the way you want it. Like, that's the literal writing. I'm not paraphrasing, that's actually how they say it. So... so yeah, a couple of enemies here are weak to the X. As you would expect, these trees are weak to the X. For the scorpions, they are not weak, but Katie is pretty strong with her attack, so it's also gonna be enough for them. And it's just faster, it doesn't waste a spell, so good to use. And now you can see the Dragon Claw. It can pull us over ledges, which we need at this point. So that's another out of combat use for this weapon. And we can still crawl up walls with it.
There's a tree face inside the tree.
Yeah.
Treeception.
A lot of tree faces inside the tree.
Oh, and more trees.
Mm-hmm. There are trees inside the tree, yeah.
So meta.
And it is. Also, the tree looked a little smaller from outside, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
That's... I'm not sure what that spell was called, but some enemies have like insta-kill spells. For example, Doom Dance. They have a very low chance to hit. But sometimes they do, and then your characters just die instantly, which is not nice. And that happened right here, so pretty unlucky.
I'm happy that it's not a regular thing that Kaylee's mom just comes and picks her up whenever she faints.
Yeah.
That would get very annoying.
Again, these enemies are weak to the axe. So it's a pretty good idea to attack them with it. I can't use auto here because our main character is so low that Kaylee would heal him, which I don't want. Also, this is an area where being low level starts to be noticeable, because I will need to heal quite a lot, you know. Oh, I guess I never said, like, the underflowing also caused our first inventory slot to have 99 seeds. Basically, well, I think it's probably like 255 seeds, I would assume. But basically we have infinite seeds now, we don't have to worry about seeds ever again. So that's good. I don't think I mentioned that before. So that's why we only have to view 2 seeds in the beginning to tide us over until the point where it's just not relevant anymore.
Donate if you also hate worms. I really don't like the worms in this game. They creep me out.
Yeah.
Donate for the worms to die.
It's kind of a Dune thing. I think it's kind of a Dune thing. Like they look like the worms from Dune. If you've heard about that. And this is where, okay, this slime starts showing up, and we're gonna attack with the claw in the hopes of petrifying that thing. If our main character doesn't die. Okay, we didn't, but that's still fine. I forgot that that will take precedence. Whoops. I should have attacked manually with Kaylee. Basically, the way you do this fight is you just attack with a claw, you hope that it petrifies. It actually did there, but it didn't matter anymore. And if it doesn't petrify, then you can just kill it with damage on the second turn. And it's important to remember what you are on. If you had what am I doing? If you've had Kaylee on auto for a while, you want to keep in mind what she was last on, so you can just mash through it if it's appropriate. Like right there, I was in the last fight, I was on arrow on all enemies, and I still am. So if the next fight should be 2 landworms, then I can just put her in manual and mash through it. I wouldn't have to menu with her anymore. Okay, but it isn't. Okay, that's gonna put Stinky below half HP, so for the next turn... Oh, never mind.
Aww.
I can just put her on manual, that's fine too.
Poor Stinky.
Yeah, indeed. You can just do this for some reason, just climb off the side. You're supposed to climb along the top. Again, Kaylee is gonna attack these, and we hope to petrify the ooze. Well, I guess not. And now that's gonna be a bit annoying because she's not... That was good. Basically because her resistances are all whacked up. When the ooze tries to drain her, he actually loses HP. Because her resistances are all out of whack. Because of the glitch we set up at the beginning of the game. And that means that she can actually kill him with 1 more axe hit. Because Katie's axe does not do enough damage to just kill them with a single axe hit. And he actually got petrified there finally. Again, I wasn't paying attention to his HP values, so... Oh, he also got petrified. Nice. That's pretty lucky.
I was going to say that's a very mean-looking frog, but that is literally what it's called, Mad Toad.
Mad Toad. Enemy names are pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
This is another type of enemy that is just weak enough that Kaylee can kill him with 1 axe hit. So it's faster to just do that. And uses fewer resources.
Did you just poke that tree in the nose to get it to open its mouth?
What else would you do?
Please? Say please?
Saying please is only for the big tree.
Okay.
The small tree holes, they just get the sword.
You just tickle it.
Yeah.
That works.
Again, poison, pretty annoying because you're always gonna have the damage pop up after every fight. I need to heal anyway, so...
You've got to look after Kaylee or her mum will come and steal her away and feed her chicken soup.
Probably. I need to... What was I gonna say? I start sentences and then forget what I'm going to say. It's not a good sign. So yeah, basically... what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the reason I always use healing spells with Katie is that she, well, for one, she just heals for more. And a lot of times that wouldn't matter, and in a normal run I probably would just heal with our main character a lot more, but in this marathon I'm going to be extra careful because Stinky has the exit spell in the first slot. So if I accidentally use exit, I'm just gonna exit out of the whole dungeon and all the enemies will respawn, and I really don't want that to happen, so just to be on the safe side I only heal with Kaylee right now. Okay, for these guys I can just use arrow on both of them. I only have 3 arrow spells left with Kaylee, so I'm gonna have to see it soon.
So if somebody at home was thinking of playing Mystic Quest, what would be the easiest way of playing it?
That's a good question. I mean, depends on where you're from. It's not a rare game, so it's not too expensive on eBay or anything. I got it on eBay. It's not one of those super expensive SNES games, so it is possible to get it. So I mean, that would be my recommendation. Should be enough. Okay. I'm not sure if it maybe came out for the DS or something.
I don't think so. Might be worth looking into at home if you're considering playing this game.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. He drained Katie and killed himself, and now the fight is gonna take one less turn. Okay, that's the last arrow spell, so I'm gonna have to seed after this fight. That's also pretty important to take to keep track of, because you don't want to end up in the fight and then realize that you don't have any spells left, because then you have to run and re-enter, and especially later on in the game you won't always get to run. I think so far we haven't seen escaping from a fight fail. Oh no, it happened. Oh god, that is very bad.
Oh, no, what happened?
I used the exit spell.
Okay.
That is exactly what was not supposed to happen.
Okay.
That is not good. I wanted to use the seed and I used exit.
That's okay. We can recover.
Yeah.
You've got this.
Just need the god RNG now, I guess.
Yep. So please get your donations in to improve our RNG.
I'm gonna keep track of the time now to see how much that lost. That was pretty painful, to be honest.
Yeah, but things like that happen in marathons, it's okay.
Yeah, it hasn't happened to me in practice, but of course.
Murphy's Law. That's how it happens.
I was hoping I could catch the stream up a little, but I guess that's out of the window now.
So just explain to me where you're going now.
Well, basically the same place I was going before. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately the exit made all the enemies respawn. I guess we have some practice now, at least. So yeah, I mean this dungeon is This dungeon is overall pretty straightforward. I don't think we have anything to pick up on the way to the final boss, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we're gonna have to pick up an item on the way out, but not right now. I could have just used arrow on these both.
You can recover this, I believe in you.
Yeah, I just need floor 6 Pazuzu and then everything is okay. That's the problem with this game, like, most of the time saves are just RNG. I mean, there is, like, obviously there's routing and menuing is an important part, and an important part of menuing is not exiting out of a dungeon. That would be really stupid if that happened to someone.
Come on. It's fine. I'm gonna make a full recovery.
I don't think it's actually too bad looking at the time.
Yeah.
Just embarrassing.
I was talking to somebody yesterday about how people at home just, they see these runs and think they're absolutely amazing, and speedrunners just pick everything apart.
I should have just said that was intentional. If I should have found some reason, like that sets up a glitch or something. Damn it. I need to get better at my excuses game. Going to the menu is scary every time now.
People at home are treated to this wonderful music for longer, so
yeah,
it's pretty nice.
Indeed. Who wouldn't want more Mystic Quest? Okay, Stinky is below half HP, so we can't just auto through this, unfortunately.
I feel on edge when you go into your menu now as well.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be super careful. I do have an excuse. I'm playing on an LCD and at home I'm playing on a CRT, so the delay is... That's the reason. That's the reason I'm choosing that
CRT.
happened. Yeah.
Fancy. Well, not
the opposite of fancy.
Yeah, but most people chucked theirs out ages ago.
Yeah. But that is my excuse and I'm sticking with it.
It's a fair excuse.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess it's gonna end up to be like 10 minutes. Which honestly might very well still mean that I'll be underestimate. It just depends on the RNG. Like on average RNG I could still go should still go underestimate, I suppose. But if the RNG is bad then I might go over.
The ticker is saying that Stinky's middle name is probably Labrador, because that should have sniped it, but I think it came through a bit too slow.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's now Stinky Labrador, whatever his second name is.
Yeah. Double stone gaze. Nice. Yeah, that's a reference to... Whoops! I forgot that she was on arrow on all of them. That's pretty useless. Because these guys are not weak to arrow at all. Oh, right.
Praise the RNG gods.
God damn it. All this missing.
Please get your donations in. Seriously. The RNG gods are not happy. Phew.
Okay. Can I heal her? I don't want poison on her.
So what is Labrador a reference to?
This would take a while to explain.
Okay,
I guess it's a reference to a... If you know Mafia, it's a game of social deduction.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't even know. Okay.
I was in on the dog game, but I didn't quite understand all the specific roles, so...
If you know Mafia, it's a game about social deduction, and recently we had a game where all the roles were completely stupid. Very carefully using the seed.
There is a thematic link between Lisa and Mystic Quest because both use bombs as a key item.
But nobody knows Lisa.
Or is it bombs? It's fire bombs, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I ran Lisa at the last two ESAs, two different Lisa games.
And I started learning the run, but I've not put anything on the leaderboards yet. And I'm saying this on stream to pressure myself to do it sometime this year.
People are too much of a perfectionist with runs. I see so many people like, oh no, my run is not good enough to put on the leaderboards. Everyone is good enough to put on the leaderboards. Also, it just puts pressure on yourself. If you see a time that you're not happy with, you're just gonna be like, oh, I want to improve that. I don't want that to be my time on the leaderboards.
That's Harpa's chill advice on how to speedrun.
How to pressure yourself into wasting all your time playing a single game over and over.
Speedrun guru Harpa.
Super careful. I think we're almost at the point where I exited out earlier. Oh, it's fine. I'm just gonna be hopeful that they drain here. Okay, that's good. So it's gonna spare me one turn. What?
I just don't want you to make the same mistake again.
I don't want myself to make that mistake again either. Believe me. You are allowed to look away whenever I go into the menu.
I'm gonna have to.
Oh, I can just attack. Okay, this is range. I think I'm now further than I was.
Are you finding that the extra XP you got from re-entering the dungeon is helping at all?
I've been wondering about that. I mean, it's probably not helping right now, but maybe later on, maybe for the best fights. I'm not sure how although I'm not sure it makes a difference with the spell values. Oh, that's good.
New strat, perhaps?
Probably not.
Probably not. Is this the Pazuzu dungeon?
No, that's
okay.
coming a bit later. We are almost at the boss now. Just stab it in the face.
You can see the ticker going up a little bit. I hope it's people donating to the RNG gods for us.
Possible. Hopefully. Okay. Need to heal, need to not exit out of the dungeon. And this is the boss.
Yes!
Made it to the boss. Oops.
Oh, absolute banger here.
Yeah, it always is, with boss fights. Annoying. Okay, so we kill off these guys at the sides first. This is another one of those boss fights. Like most boss fights, whenever someone is below half HP, I put my NPC on auto, so they're just gonna heal. And especially for later on, it's important where the boss can be faster than our NPC companion, because our NPC companion is gonna adjust to what happens during that. Stop it, please. Jesus Christ.
Oh!
There was nothing I could have done about that.
No.
So yeah, basically the NPC companion adjusts to what happens during the boss turn. So if the boss... Basically, if someone is just injured, she would use the cure spell, but if they're dead, she would have to use the life spell. But if you just put her on auto and then the boss kills her before our NPC companion gets to attack, then the boss will just... I mean the NPC companion will just use life instead of cure. So that's what I mean by they adjust their inputs. Stop petrifying, please. God damn it, this RNG. Just gonna cure manually. Ouch.
I really need some herbal tea because this is stressing me out.
Yeah. That is a lot of damage for that attack. That attack has like a... It can attack for... hit for different amounts of times, and... I think it's always hitting for the max right now. But he should be dead.
Yeah.
Please. Thank
Come
you.
on.
That should be it.
Yes!
So this dungeon took a little longer than planned, but that's okay.
We
We're
got
gonna-
there in the end.
We
You got
just-
there in the end.
We need to catch up that time. Oh, by the way, you can see, well, you can see that you can't see anything. And the problem with that is we were supposed to finish the fire area of the game, which we skipped completely by duping the seed. What am I saying? By underflowing the menu and just getting the coin. If you had finished that area, then everything would be cleared up. Basically, that's one of the points to doing that area that we skipped. And since we didn't, it's just gonna be covered up this whole time. We're not gonna see the world map in the last area of the game. But that's not important. As long as you know where to go, of course. So we finished the dungeon, but we still need to do one more thing, which is pick up the meteor spell, which is a very powerful spell. There's no convenient way to pick it up on the way in, because if we drop all the way down here, you saw we had to do a couple of drops. This time it's actually intentional, so don't worry. We have to do a bunch of drops, and there's no convenient way to get back up there to the boss. So we do it on the way out. We don't really need that spell for the boss anyway. So this is Windia, where we are gonna be a lot. We buy the Cupid locket from her. And we go to the next place. We can warp in this house because we got the Mobius crest earlier. And we end up back in the Firebug area, the area that we actually skipped. And we go to this guy because he gives us jumbo bombs.
Sour please.
That area has very good music, so it's kind of sad that we skip it. And I exit and re-enter just to get to this house faster, which is Otto's house. And he's an important character that we're gonna talk to a bunch of times. But right now he's not helping us because his niece, I think it's his niece, Norma, has gone missing. So we're gonna have to rescue her. She's stuck in Pazuzu's tower, and we can't get there right now because, as you could see in Windia, it's very windy, and the reason for that is the boss in this area. So we're gonna have to kill that guy first of all. We can even get to that dungeon in the first place. Oops. So we now use the meteor spell and arrow on a single enemy, and that's a pretty good combo because right now in this area, okay, it didn't hit, nice. That was another Doom Dance which could have insta-killed. For most enemy combos here, you can just use arrow on a single enemy and then meteor on the rest, and it will finish everything off. Which is very nice, because it's a one-turn kill combo.
Oh, it's a new kind of hag.
Maybe this is the water hack, maybe this
Yeah.
is where I got confused earlier. And I actually have the claw equipped now because the vampires are strong enough that they don't die if I don't have the claw equipped. That's one of those enemies where those little extra bit of magic damage actually makes the difference between killing them and not killing them.
It's one of those classic things where you do have to take a time loss to pick something up, because otherwise you just won't be able to do battles as efficiently later on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta lose time to save time.
Some real wisdom right there.
Yeah. I'm a fount of wisdom.
don't need the claw here, so I'm just gonna go back to the sword, which is gonna make me faster. Okay, both of these enemies got to attack first anyway. Thankfully, again, Doom Dance missed. That's a really annoying attack, obviously, since it's an insta-kill. Usually I would have... Oh yeah, there are different slots for magic. Basically white spells, black spells, and then wizard spells. Okay, I didn't have one left. I thought I did because I leveled up. But I didn't. So... Yeah, there are white slots, spell slots, black spell slots, and wizard spell slots. And the wizard spells are the strongest spells. Meteor is our first wizard spell. And those spell slots are gonna become very important. And there are only very few of them. Like right now I have 4. And I guess I'm gonna see KD2, although there's no real reason to. This is Dollarhan, our next boss. We're gonna start out with the same combo again, arrow on a single enemy and then Meteor, which should kill the other vampire off. Don't do that. Okay, thank you. That was another insta-kill attack, so I'm glad it missed. I'm just gonna put KD on auto because she doesn't have really good attacks for this guy. I just lost my screen, by the way. Oh, never mind, it's back. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep her on auto so she just keeps healing Stinky. And yeah, basically his meteor spell is just so powerful that it's not really worth casting anything else. So we just want to keep him healthy.
Aww.
What?
The horse looks so sad.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I need to stop saying that. The whole point is supposed to kill the animals.
Kill the animals?
Well.
What? Wrong marathon, dude. I'm just gonna heal manually because she wouldn't heal herself here right now because she's not below half HP. So sometimes if you leave her more auto, they're a little stupid basically. Like if she's... Oh god! Let's hope that one more meteor spell is enough. There's no way to really... That's good, that's very good. He missed. That's a new one. There's just no real way to deal with that.
Yes!
It's very lucky.
Right, you have 50 minutes left to be on estimate. Do you think you'll manage it?
Possible. It really all depends on Pazuzu.
Okay.
That's just the way this run goes.
Right, get your donations in now to wish for good RNG with Pazuzu.
Wish
Super
for
important.
floor 6 Pazuzu specifically,
Floor
please.
6 Pazuzu. Even if you don't know what that means, wish for floor 6
Yeah,
Pazuzu.
doesn't matter. Okay, so now Otto will actually talk to us and go to Pazuzu's tower. First mission is to rescue Norma. She's just right here.
Oh, she's so cute!
At the entrance. I feel like Otto could have gone there to check that himself, but I guess not. I guess there's too much to ask. So I leave Kaylee on auto. She should attack with the axe, okay. Sometimes she doesn't for some reason. And now she's blind. I'm just gonna leave her on auto to heal her blindness. Because like I said, blindness is annoying because if you leave an NPC on auto, they will always heal the blindness before they do anything else. And that's just not useful. This is another exit arrow for these guys. Oh, and I'm attacking the green dudes with weapons because they're immune to spells. They actually reflect spells back at you. So I can't attack them with spells. He used self-destruct there. This is a little annoying. Nope, all the time. can just defend with her. Okay. Because she didn't get blinded. So she doesn't really have anything to do. She can't kill them with one exit. So there's no real point in doing, like, leaving her in auto, because she's just gonna attack, which isn't gonna do much.
This is gonna be stuck in my head for days.
That's the Mystic Quest experience. It has a lot of good music, but always the same battle music. So this is Pazuzu. We meet him, he warps away. He warps away to a random floor, and we hope it was floor 6. So this is the 3rd floor right now. That's where he starts out as. So he can warp to floor 1, 2, 4, 5 or 6. And it's wildly different, like speed-wise, depending on where he ends up. This is another undead enemy, so I can just use life on these. Yeah, this is why the run is kind of painful, because if you want a really good time, I mean, if you want to go for world record or anything, then you just need floor 6 Pazuzu, and he's usually not nice enough to do that. Life won't work on that. That was an accident.
And it's such a late reset point as well.
It is. That's the thing. Like, you get... I mean, you're not supposed to be this late into the run, but it's still over an hour. So you play for over an hour, and then if you're at a world record pace level, then you can just reset at that point, which is very sad. And maybe that's the reason that Al Magus has gotten his last 2 records were actually in races. Because I'm not sure whether he's actually masochistic enough to just still run this game. Because his time is so good, like there's no reason for him to play without having optimal RNG. And yeah, it's obviously always gonna become the case at some point if you run this game. I'm really low on bombs, which may actually be an issue. I'm gonna have to keep a couple. I
can't help but dance in my seat. The music's just so good.
Oh, whoops, she was below half HP, so she healed herself, which is not good. But, luckily, they all attacked our main character. And she didn't get blinded, so I don't have to heal blindness. And I can just attack with bombs, and it's just gonna be enough. So this is a hallway with these manticores, which we can all cast life on. Life is a bit of a weird spell because obviously the regular use is using it on your companion, so it always defaults back to your main character instead of the enemy. You can see I always have to go 1 up because it's not by default a spell that targets an enemy. So whenever the enemy dies that you last targeted it on, it goes away. However, I can just smash through this because I'm not sure how exactly it works, but I guess because the enemy is, like, all the enemies are alive, the target for it isn't dead, I guess. So it works out. I'm not sure exactly how it works. I'm nervous too whenever I go into a menu now.
I'm of a sensitive disposition.
That has actually, like, I don't think that has ever happened to me. Like, accidentally exiting out of a dungeon. It definitely hasn't happened during practice for this marathon, so of course.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to account for nerves doing it live in front of a stream with lots of people. It's fine, dude. You're doing well now.
Yeah, it should be fine. The estimate was generous, and I'm glad that it was now. I could also go for life on the Manticore and then exit on the Thanatos, but the Thanatos are pretty dangerous because they have Doom Dance. And as you know, that can be annoying because it's an insta-kill. I'm just not gonna use bombs on this guy because I used too many bombs earlier on. This last game.
Is Sorcerer a stronger kind of mage?
Yeah. Yeah, that happens a lot at this point, where basically there are a lot of recolors, I guess, where they are basically the same enemies as the ones that have shown up before, but they are stronger and look a little different. They have a little different coloring. And a lot of bosses show up as, well, their sprites show up as regular enemies, but they are not as strong as the bosses, obviously. Alright, I'm gonna go into the menu after this fight, so brace yourself, please. No exiting, please.
Please.
Oh! Didn't happen.
Can I look?
Yes.
Did you actually almost exit out, or were you just trying to freak me out?
I leave that up to you to decide.
So mean. Gotta be careful with Kaylee or her mum's gonna steal her back.
Yeah. We are almost at the point where we're gonna see, or where we could start encountering Pazuzu.
Okay.
This is floor 7, we're gonna go down to floor 1. First though, we need to pick up the chest on the left over there. It's gonna contain the flare spell, which is very powerful.
Yeah, get your donations in, $6, $60, whatever you can manage for making sure that
$666.
No, because that would... Oh yeah, I guess. Because Pazuzu is the devil, right?
Maybe,
okay.
yeah.
Yes. But get those donations in so that our RNG is good. Harpa's RNG is good. I'm not doing anything.
Okay, so now we have the flare spell, which is pretty amazing. You just use it with Stinky, defend, and it will just...
Oh no!
It would just kill both of them if he wasn't asleep. I should be defending him. was gonna re-enter the fight. It's usually the best thing to do. Stop doing that, please.
No!
Alright, I'm gonna heal everyone. I'm not... Like, usually with defense, they don't attack the main character, but... Yeah. It might have been due to her poison status, that the defense wasn't working correctly. Okay, so this is the last enemy before we see whether we get optimal Pazuzu RNG, which I don't think so. It's a 1 in 5 chance. And then basically, well, floor 6 is the best. Alright, let's see. If he's right here... Nope, he was not. He was not. He would have been right there. That is not surprising. That's a 1 in 5 chance. So floor 6 is by far the best. We have to, like, we hit that switch either way, and then we fight 1 or 2 more enemies, and then we can fight him. I think it's just 1 enemy that we would have to fight. So it's pretty obvious how much faster it is by just keep in mind we would have just had to fight that Naga right there, and then we would have fought Pazuzu. So basically we would be fighting Pazuzu already, because we just did another fight and then this is the second fight since then. So when you want to like visualize Pazuzu RNG, just keep in mind that we could be fighting Pazuzu at this point already, and it might be quite a while before we actually get to. He's not there either. That would have been the second best option. Oh, I didn't want to attack. I guess that's fine though. So yeah, floor 6 is by far the best. And then floor 5, 4 and 1 are all alright. And floor 2 is the absolute worst. By far. So I assume it's gonna be floor 2. Okay, fighting 1 more enemy before we can go on to the next floor. And see if he's there.
Come on.
There he is.
Yes!
That's alright.
I mean, that's pretty good for a marathon.
Yeah.
That
is not the worst case, so
yeah.
I'm satisfied. Menu coming up, brace yourself. That's it. Oh, wait, I should have used arrow on the Chimera. They are resistant to flare, so they won't die. So basically that's one of the few enemies where the strategy doesn't work, to just cast arrow on one of the enemies and then flare. I don't think I even explained what the switches do. They basically, technically, Pazuzu doesn't warp. He takes an elevator, and the yeah, he's a normal man. He has to take the elevator in his own tower. And if you press those switches, the elevator can't go past those floors anymore. So basically, our goal is to lock him in until he can't run away anymore from us. Because if we just talk to him, he's just gonna keep walking away, keep warping away every time, like he did the first time when we talked to him on floor 3. So we have to press the switches to lock him in, and then he can't run anymore. He has to fight us. We press this switch, so the elevator is now stuck between floor 4 and 6. So if he had been on floor 5, he would be stuck already. We could have just walked all the way back, talked to him. But since he's on this floor, we had to bomb that door. We have to do these 2 extra fights, and we have to talk to him. He will warp away again to floor 5 because that's the only place he can go because he's locked in. He can't warp down because we pressed that switch.
I was gonna say.
So that's the strat. That's the difference. So there he is now. We can't meet him right here because we're on a higher level. We have to walk quite a way around. And yeah, that's basically Pazuzu. If he had been on floor 6, you could have just hit the switch, talked to him, done. Floor 4 you saw. Floor 5 you just skip. You just skip talking to him on floor 4. And then there's floor 1, where you have to go down 2 more floors, and then you just exit out of the dungeon and go into the first floor, and you can talk to him there. And the last one is floor 2. Then you have to walk to floor 2. I mean, do everything we did before, of course. Walk to floor 2, press the switch. Walk back to floor 4, press that switch. Go back down to floor 2, talk to him. He warps away. And then you have to like go down and go like a long way around to floor 3. And then you can finally fight him.
Oh, okay.
So floor 2 is super painful.
So we're not... I was a bit confused as to why you couldn't just go and fight him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is floor 4, so I mean this is also a long way around,
Okay.
obviously. But floor 2 is much worse than this even. There's so much more running around in floor 2. Alright. This dude. Seat everyone. Heal. Don't exit out of the dungeon.
Ooh.
And there he is. You can finally fight him. He's not warping away. This is a... Oops. This is a pretty difficult fight. It's fairly risky. So in addition to all the RNG from him. I'm gonna cure both of them manually because Katie isn't below half HP, so she wouldn't heal herself. She would have just healed Stinky. Now I can keep her on auto because just Stinky is low. Again, I want to go with that strategy of keeping everyone above half HP, at least. That's... I was gonna say that's good, but then he did a crit, so that was less good. I'm just gonna heal once more. And now he does this side shield, which means we can't... Okay. What are you doing? I don't know why she did that. We're gonna have to restart the fight. Usually if you keep them on auto, they don't attack, because he is immune to spells, as you saw. And for some reason she used arrow and attacked, and she killed herself because he reflects spells. So that's why you shouldn't attack. So he's just gonna go in and out of this phase. At first it takes like 5 turns, and then later on he's just gonna switch back and forth quite quickly between these phases. Okay, petrified. That's annoying. I'm gonna have to heal that. Okay. That's one of those things where you can't really do anything. He just petrifies both of your characters in a row.
The most annoying of things.
Yeah. The RNG is not being kind. It could be worse, I suppose.
Gotta look on the bright side.
Please.
Is he dabbing?
Maybe? I don't know.
Looks like he's dabbing.
Alright, and he should go out of the side shield in the next turn, so I should be fine to attack with my main character, because my main character should always be slower than Pazuzu. So you can see that it fits up pretty perfectly, but I can just attack with him, even though he was still in side shield at the start of the turn. That was one of those cases where having Katie on auto was really useful, because he petrified her during the turn. He petrified our main character during the turn, but Katie still used auto, because yeah, on auto they can kind of cheat. They don't have to input. They don't have to do their inputs before the turn starts. Basically, they can react to what the boss does in the turn. So she was able to unpetrify, and our main character was still able to do his attack. It was very convenient. That's very bad. Now if he petrifies us, we're done again. Okay. Oh yeah, he's going to side shield, so that's good timing. If he goes into side shield, he always goes last. So Stinky was able to do that. Was able to heal before that happened. And I always just use the side shield turns to seed up with Stinky, because that's the only good time to do it, really. I forgot that I could have attacked already there.
He looks mad as heck.
Yes. In a second he will look dead as heck. I hope. Oh, he went into side shield. What am I doing? I'm sorry. I thought he went out of it. Okay, so now he's out of side shield again. So now I can actually flare. Now Kaylee can actually attack. That's like one of the only times she got to attack during that fight. He just kept attacking, which was kind of annoying. He should be dead, I hope. Thank you. Okay, that's good.
Well done.
Thank you.
Sparkly.
Okay, so that's a cutscene, and in that chest is an item which we don't need anymore because we have all the items, so we can just go out. Now there's gonna be more underflowing fun. Buy 0 cure potions.
Does it feel good scamming an old woman?
Yeah. I mean, I'm paying zero money and I'm getting 0 potions, so it's a fair transaction, I think.
Oh, I guess.
So we bought those 0 cure potions, and it was very important to wait wait until we actually get Ruben in our party. If we had used that before, we would have soft blocked. And we don't want to do that. Generally. And now we glitched the Thunder Rock into our inventory. Don't have to go get it. So we can just talk to Otto again and everything is fine. So now that we have the Thunder Rock, we can go here. Little cutscene. He blows this stuff up. And we can get the ship now, finally. I'm gonna have to go to Kaylee to get the captain's cap. Which we need so that the ship goes into Harpa, basically. These enemies are fairly annoying because they are, like I said earlier, they are weak to, they are resistant to flare. So they're one of the few enemies that don't get absolutely wrecked by flare. It's also annoying that I got petrified again, so. Yeah, that's gonna happen. I mean, that's not too bad on these kind of fights. Okay. That can just. It happens. I didn't want to heal him. I didn't think that was worth it. I was just hoping that another attack would go through with Stinky. These guys are not resistant to flare or anything, so we can just defend with Ruben and use flare, and that's it. Overall, this ship is gonna be a very short dungeon for us. Because obviously we're not doing any of the optional stuff, so we just, there are very few fights in this actually. And Ruben is gonna leave us after this area again, so we really don't get to see Ruben much at all.
He stopped doing disappearing acts.
He does. So it's just gonna be one more fight. Fight.
You've got about 20 minutes left on your estimate.
It's gonna be close. I'm not even sure that's impossible, but picking up the Gaia armor, giving us some more resistances, giving this guy the captain's cap.
Everybody's related in this game.
True.
What's the family stuff going on?
And Ruben says, I guess he says, I guess I haven't recovered from my fall off the bridge. Which is like, they want to give you different NPC companions, and there's always like the flimsiest excuses why people have to leave. Exit. I'm gonna go on to the inn. There's a little cutscene here. And we meet Phoebe, who is gonna be our last NPC companion.
No! Ruben!
Yeah, he has to go down to rest. And Phoebe joins us. We have to go downstairs to talk to Mac again, who's also downstairs. We can just talk to this guy actually rest. First of all, this is actually just faster than walking down the stairs, and of course it refreshes our magic slots and everything. That's pretty convenient. We go back to the ship, and now that we have conquered it, it's actually gonna take us to the final dungeon. So the ship itself is not a dungeon anymore at this point, it just takes us to this place.
Notice how NPCs disappear and then come back miraculously at a higher level.
Yeah, I guess they're working out.
Yep.
So this dungeon has 4 parts. This is the first part and also the shortest part. The bone dungeon part, they all kind of correspond to the dungeons that we've been. Like this is like the very first dungeon, that's what it's based on. Again, I had to use the claw because otherwise Flair's not strong enough to kill these ninjas.
Another banger. Just banger after banger with this game.
This final dungeon is an absolute banger. I love this music. Go bomb. Go over, and this is a boss, and this is not a very dangerous boss because, well, I mean, stuff can still go wrong, but we can kind of cheese him because we can just exit the boss actually. I'm not sure why that works, but we can just exit him out of the fight and that's it. That's the boss.
No, I don't want to fight you today.
Yeah, no, goodbye please. And that's the bone dungeon part done. Like I said, the shortest part of the Doom Castle. Oops. And now we're on to the Ice Pyramid part. Again, ninjas, I'm gonna have to switch to the claw. Single target thunder with Phoebe. He's self-destruct. Okay, I guess that works. Oh, I used exit. Whoops. Oh, then that worked out perfectly. I forgot I was still on exit. Again, we can stab these statues to open up paths. And it's actually a lot more important this time. Because there's a lot more paths we have to open. For some reason, this is probably my favorite area of the game because it feels so determined. You're just like walking from place to place, stabbing all the statues.
Triumphant. That's the word I'd use.
Feels like you really know what you're doing.
It's hard not to headbang as well.
Yeah. It's amazing. I'm not even gonna talk so people can enjoy the music. I can talk during battles because that's always the same boring music. I should be out of spells for Stinky at this point. So I need to use the seed.
Ooh.
Next boss, he looks impressive, but
Big
again,
beastie.
we can exit him out of the dungeon. Again, not sure why that works, but it's okay. It's annoying that Phoebe got attacked immediately, because we're kind of hoping for her to kill off one of these dogs. I'm just gonna flare and defend.
Where do the enemies go when you exit them? Could they go to another town and plague another bunch of people?
Possibly? I don't know what happens.
And you don't care?
No. As long as they're out of my way.
So ruthless.
So yeah, that's the ice pyramid part done. And this is, well, you don't know this part because this is from the area that we skipped, so this corresponds to a dungeon that we didn't actually go to.
Those were some very sad doggos.
They are waving a white flag, which is pretty funny.
I completely missed that.
They're gonna die instantly. Oh wow. So you don't have much time to look, but... See? Oh, I didn't want to defend. It's not gonna be enough to kill everyone. Thunder should be enough. Yeah. I'm just gonna fight this guy right now. You can also fight him later, but this is basically the way out. So you're gonna have to fight them at some point. I'm just gonna do it before the boss instead of after.
Yeah, ESA doesn't endorse throwing fireballs at doggos unless it's necessary to get through dungeons.
That's okay. It's very necessary right now.
Yep.
Okay, next boss coming up. This is not a boss that we can exit out of the dungeon, unfortunately. I'm gonna do Flare White to get rid of everyone. That's a lot of damage. Okay, that's good that Stinky went early there. I'm gonna equip the claw to just have that little bit of extra damage. I shouldn't have been using Flare. He's resistant to Flare. So it doesn't do a lot. It's a little annoying that Phoebe is poisoned because now I can't really leave her on auto anymore. The general strategy for this fight is gonna... Okay, we're gonna have to restart this fight. He crit on her and we can't revive her. I shouldn't be using attacks anymore. I can just run. Unfortunately, that kind of stuff can happen in this game. because the boss fights aren't always balanced. I assume something like that would happen, so I put on auto. If someone's dead, that will still take precedence over healing her poison. But if our main character is not dead, well, curing and reviving takes precedent for the auto script over healing her poison. And since we don't want her to heal poison because it's just kind of a waste of a turn, I need to be careful not to keep her on auto while she doesn't have anything useful to do. He's almost dead. I think it's like 1 or 2 more attacks. Should be this one. Okay. So that's the third part of this dungeon done. And now we're on to the last part.
We're on the home stretch.
Yep. And this corresponds to Bazooka's tower. You can actually fall down there, and you fall down back to the lava part from before. So that's a little annoying. Again, these chimeras are resistant. That's fine. These chimeras are resistant to flare, so I can't use it on them. So I would have used meteor, but Stinky died. I should be able to get by with just another white if she survives. Stone gaze and goodbye. Yeah. I could have actually picked up an item in the bone dungeon part, the first part of this dungeon, which would have made our main character at least resistant to petrify. But of course that costs a little time and it's usually not worth it. You're kind of betting against yourself if you do that, since you're kind of betting on having bad RNG with petrification. So it could have, for Marathon, that could have been worth it, but like I said, even if you don't, it never really makes that much of a difference, I feel like. I think I have 1 flare left. Oh, he's gonna get really low. I hope he survives until he can do a flare. How much damage will that do? Okay, that's fine. Stone gaze. Annoying. I mean, usually she's fast enough to go first, so usually that's not a problem, but there's some randomness in it, so it can happen that the enemies go first earlier than Phoebe on her second turn. And if that happens, it can mess things up. Here I'm not using the white flare combo, I'm using a single target thunder because the Thanatos enemies can actually heal themselves. So if you use a white, they're probably gonna heal themselves back to full HP. So you want to use a single target thunder to just kill one off completely, and then yeah, this should be fine because the freezer crab should die off, and then flare should be enough for both of them, even though the chimera is resistant to it. You can just skip these ones. Like, you can actually just walk to the side of stairs, even though it looks like you shouldn't be able to, but there's just no collision there.
I support killing less doggos.
I guess.
What?
Because it's slow. Yeah, this is gonna go a little over, unfortunately. But there's not much left in the run.
I mean, to say you restarted a dungeon, being a little overestimate's pretty impressive.
Ooh, please survive, Stinky.
Stinky lives to stink another day.
That won't kill the chimera, actually. Okay, so now it's the last real boss, basically. And this one is also difficult. It's a Pazuzu clone. Again, first turn is gonna be kinda iffy. You just wanna kill off the enemies to the side. And they have stone gaze and all that neat stuff. Okay, so the strategy for this guy is gonna be flare white. Strongest spells. He is faster than Pazuzu, so he should always go first. Which is just important with he's also gonna have this side shield turn like Pazuzu did.
He also dabs.
Indeed, he dabs. And it's just important to know the order because, okay, he's gonna go into side shield now. Because you wanna know when you can cast spells again. And for that, the order of attacks is important, because if he goes into Doom Dance, it's annoying. If he goes into side shield, he always goes last, but if he goes out, it's just the regular order. So I should be fine casting a white. Yeah, he went out first before anyone else did anything, because he's usually faster. That hits, that's very bad. Might still be able to kill him though. Oh my god. Oh, that's bad.
I'm so sorry, dude.
Missed.
Ooh.
I can only attack regularly here. Okay, I'm gonna have to restart this. Yeah. If Phoebe gets hit by Doom Dance, that's just it, dude. It's... the fight is over.
It's RNG, man. You got this, dude.
I'm not sure if it's a single target thunder even kills this guy. Unfortunately, Stinky got paralyzed. Yeah, the start of this fight can go quite wrong, as you can see. That's more likely to happen towards the start of the fight. That, like the fight going wrong at the end of the fight right there, was pretty unlucky. Okay, he instantly Doom Danced. Luckily it didn't hit.
Bye-bye.
That's the best thing you can do. Yeah, basically he has a very low chance to cast, well, not a very low, but a low chance to cast Doom Dance at all. And then it also has a pretty low hit percentage. So whenever he hits the Doom Dance, it's just... well, I was gonna say Benjamin because that's like the default name of the main character. But Stinky doesn't have the life spell, so we just can't revive Phoebe if she dies. So if he hits Doom Dance, the fight is just over. Not if he hits it on the main character like this. If he hits it on her. Yeah. Painful, painful, painful.
You've got this, dude. You can do it.
RNG is not being kind at all. Another Doom Dance. Yeah. There's just nothing I can do about that.
No, this is completely... There's nothing Harpa can do to stop this happening. It's just what the console and the game decides to do.
Decides not to be nice today. Okay. Looking good so far, I can get a lot of damage in. Didn't have to heal yet. Should be pretty low HP already. But yeah, if he Doom Dances then it's still over. It's not Doom Dance, so that's good. Gonna keep Phoebe on auto. She should heal. Yes, thank you. Psychic Shield is down. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Whew.
Finally.
That's
A muted
definitely
clap.
deserves a clap. Thank
Yay.
you. Thank you.
So the quickest way to get out of this is to just fall down here. It's gonna take us back into this part, and we can just grapple over and walk out. And now all that's left is the final boss. Which is, there's basically a cheap strat for him. We walk here, we get a free heal. Oops. And now there's a certain sequence. He's another one of those enemies that has these weird properties where you can cure him to damage him. And the exact order of things is supposed to be: we cure with Stinky, we cure with Phoebe. Yeah. So we defend with Phoebe for now, so Stinky gets to go first. We cure with Stinky. Cure with Phoebe. Should go first. Oh, it didn't. Okay, I'm actually probably gonna have to restart this fight. I think our main character is just too fast at this point because he's high level. That kinda messed it up. I just hope he kills me fast now. Okay, try again. Yep. Okay, I switched. Ugh, missed, really? I switched to the bombs so that our main character is a little slower. It should definitely mean that he's slower than Phoebe now. Doesn't do anything, she heals, goes into a phase switch. And then Stinky needs to do 2 more heals. And the time is when the damage comes up. So in a second, hopefully. And time.
Woo! Great job, great job.
Yes, yes, we defeated the Dark King. Finally. So yeah, warping out of the dungeon didn't help. Like, that was the reason I went overestimate. And RNG wasn't great. But overall, I think it was fine from an execution standpoint. RNG wasn't nice to me, but I didn't expect it to be. I didn't get floor 2 Pazuzu, which would have been the worst case, so I'm happy with that. So yeah, this is gonna be it from me. You have anything to say?
I don't know. Do you have anything to plug?
I have a Jungle Book run tomorrow at like 6 on stream too. I think like 17:40. So yeah, since I already went over, shoutouts to the best train crew behind me. And other than that, I'm just gonna say goodbye and have fun with the next run.
Bye bye.